I care too much. When someone doesn't appreciate what you do, sounds relatable.
In all fairness, you don't think ahead very often.
Well, I have a crippling drug addiction.
Welcome back, everybody.
Incredible intro, my dear Dynamite, as always. You guys know that there's a lot of advice on the internet.
Yep.
All types of advice, life advice, parenting, the list goes on, right? Sometimes you gotta sift through it, take what's good, leave behind the bad. We're gonna go through some things today that are supposed to help level up our life, maybe some things we didn't know we could implement, and we're gonna do that with you. I'm excited. Let's start with this one. It's called an unethical life hack.
Save business cards of people you don't like. If you ever hit a parked car accidentally, just write sorry on the back and leave it on the windscreen.
that is so up.
That's good though. That's a good one.
That's just chaos.
You'd have to have like hate in your heart to be able to.
No, that's great. I love that. I feel like they were dramatizing it a little bit.
I mean, to hold on to that much hatred for that long, that wait till you hit a parked car.
5 years later?
Yeah, pull out their business card. Oh, remember this idiot that I didn't like because they did something stupid?
I mean, it's like, it would be insane to actually do, but the idea of it's very funny.
Hey bro, say hi to the camera. Perfect. So what you watching, by the way? Oh, Stranger Things. But why'd you take a picture? I'm not doing anything special. That's why I took the picture. What do you mean? Most people only take pictures of big, memorable events which are already easy to look back on. But taking pictures of regular things that happen every day with friends, family, or whoever are often overlooked but hit the hardest when you look back on it. Great perspective. That deserves a follow.
First of all, cheesy video, but
So cheese, but good message.
I kind of agree. If I'm thinking about like most of the photos from the 90s photos album when I was a kid, or like the old Polaroids, it's very often just like cameos, you kind of in your element out in the yard with your friends. I think another part of it though is the nostalgia piece that makes those.
Yeah.
I think he's right in the sense that our culture now too, everything is so highly curated and it's so important to get the perfect shot of everything, whereas back then, when we were a little bit younger, like that wasn't even a thing. There was no social media, you didn't care. You're only taking pictures for your own enjoyment. You're not taking pictures to try to get the adoration of strangers, right?
They should be worshiping me.
I think that there's something to be said for taking random candid photos like that. I
Love
like
it.
the idea of it. There's, kind of a meme on the internet about proof of mom. Like moms are never in pictures because they're always the one taking it. Even if I don't like how I look, I would like a little more candid photos of
Oh, would you?
me hanging with
Oh,
my
would you,
babe.
Mrs. I'm not allowed to take pictures unless the lighting's perfect and and everything's right and the makeup's done and all this stuff. Oh, would you?
You don't realize it until you're on your own, but for many people, your parents are basically your personal assistants. Learn to get better at these tasks before you're completely out on your own, and adulting won't be so hard or such a shock. Your parents may do any or all of the following. They keep your schedule. They tell you where you need to be and when.
I mean, I'm 38. I'm just now learning how to keep a better schedule. I would say to compound on that though, it's not necessarily just your parents. Like for the first, 18 to 22 years of your life, everything, like your schedule is largely decided for you between school and athletics and after school programs, whatever it is. It's
Right, but that all needs to be managed.
managed by the parents, but it's not like the parents are setting the boundaries for your school. The hardest part for me, I will say, not go off on a huge tangent, when I left the restaurant industry and started working YouTube full time, it was the first time in my life where my schedule wasn't dictated by an employer, right?
Of course.
And it was really difficult for me. It's almost like the idea of like having too much freedom is suffocating in a weird way, but it was a difficult transition that was, the first 30 years of life. I always had this schedule I had to adhere to, and I built my life around that.
Sure.
Something I had
It's
to
changed a bit throughout the years, of course.
had to learn as you go, and then you have a kid and your schedule revolves around that.
They often tell you when you need to go to sleep and when to wake up to make it to things and be sufficiently rested. They make your appointments for you, doctors,
You do that for
dentists,
me.
etc. Ensure you have transportation and that you get there on time. If someone goes wrong, they get the call and then tell you about it, usually with a list of options for taking care of it. They keep track of the things you need to do and remind you about getting them done.
So you're describing a wife.
I was gonna say, I'm reading this and I'm like, yeah, well, you just find a wife then, because they start doing a lot of those things too. This is like a lot of advice. It's like, listen, what you can, allow your parents to do the parent things if you can, but there is an element of like, and this is a parenting thing where there needs to be a transitory phase where you start giving your kid more of these responsibilities to get them prepared. Like if you helicopter that shit until they're like through college, you're like showing up all the time and calling them every day, it can be a little oppressive. And then by the time they're ready to be a responsible adult, they are completely handicapped by your inability to let them spread their own wings. This looks fair.
Like this $20 bill.
This is
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
give it
deep,
to
I
one
can
of you,
tell.
but first, let me do this.
It's gonna be super deep.
Okay, now who still wants it? I do.
It's still worth $20. right? Even though it looks wrinkled.
And what if I do this?
I already get where he's going, right? Obviously.
Who wants it now? My dear students, I've just showed you a very important lesson.
Oh my god.
No matter what I did with this money, you still wanted it because it never lost its worth.
Hold on, he might
It's
come.
still worth $20. Well, there are many times in our
rip
lives
it.
when we feel like life has crumbled us up and ground us into it.
Yeah.
We may make some bad decisions or
But
have
we're
to
still
deal
worth
with some worse
$20.
circumstances.
But
Sometimes
you're still only worth
lives can make
$20.
us feel worthless. But no matter what has happened, no matter what will happen, you never lose your worth. You never lose your.
I'm worth at least 50. Come on.
So I'm saying, give me a Benjamin spot at least $20.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
this
damn.
It's
If I'm gonna let you throw me on the ground and step on my cubes, that better be worth $100. That's so funny, dude. Yeah,
I
I mean
would like
that.
him to take that $20 and go get a haircut.
It's
Yeah,
just such a
just cheese.
quintessential,
It's cheese.
like, cute little music, like, just hyperbolic nonsense. Like, I get it. But if you're scrolling TikTok, it's kind of weird because this is the perfect antidote for some people. Like, a lot of people, when they're, like, feeling down and depressed, we, like, go to social media to scroll because you get these little hits of dopamine that help you feel good for microseconds, right? And content like this might come right at the right time for someone where they need to see this, but that's, like, such a dangerous hole to go down. My wife's worth at least a 50, all right?
If you're worried about a situation, then write everything down you're worried about. Then cross out the things you can't control and deal with the things you can.
Yes, good, quick advice. That's one of my favorite things, is just not worrying about things you can't control. Way easier said than done.
Way easier.
Obviously, might help for some people to write it down. Oh, this is worrying me. I'm worried about all these things. I can't control any of those things, so just focusing on the things that are within your control. Super important, I think. That was way better than, my dear students, does anyone still want this $20? Mike Tyson's got some life advice
Oh
for
dear.
us.
I'm a little worried about
It's probably
this.
high.
Everybody that you fight is not your enemy, and everybody that helps you is not your friend.
That's 100% true. That's very general, but sure. But I'm not going to watch that and be like, well, I've just leveled up my thinking now. Go through life, I now got that job promotion I needed. Denzel Washington, here's another one.
Dreams without goals are just dreams.
Come on.
And ultimately, they fuel disappointment.
Exactly.
On the road to achieving your dreams, you must apply discipline, but more importantly,
There you go.
consistency, because without commitment, you'll never start, but without consistency, you'll never finish.
I like that one better than Mike Tyson. Very relatable. There is a level of like addiction to feeling motivated, which is super counterintuitive because it feels good. Like you can watch videos like this, like motivational content, and feel like it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're doing something because you've kind of started to internalize these things you're thinking, but you haven't actually done anything except watch TikTok videos. And then when you start doing something and it feels shitty and it feels hard and you give up for whatever reason, then you go back to watching these videos because it makes you feel good again. I'm not saying it's bad. It's good to like watch and take little pieces of advice from people in life. You can read books that are focused on discipline, but there is a point where you need to shut your shit down, turn off your phone, and just kind of like start executing on something.
When a
It's
job
this
interviewer
this guy
asks,
again.
what's your biggest weakness? Interpret the question in practical terms rather than in terms of personality faults.
So we've talked about this before, I
Definitely.
think. Hate that question.
Hate it.
Best answer is, I care too much. So you used to interview, right?
I did. I did not ask that question.
No.
You can ask something similar in a different way, but I'm not going to say what's your biggest weakness because I don't need someone to come up with an answer to that.
No, that's because no one's gonna be honest. It's like, well, I have a crippling drug addiction.
Yeah.
No one's gonna tell you their real weaknesses. Yeah.
Oh no, we'll find out when you're spending 30 minutes in the bathroom and don't come back from break.
Yeah. When we're starting to miss things in the medicine cabinet here at work.
Sometimes I let people take advantage of me, or I take criticism personally are bad answers.
Yes.
I'm too honest or I work too hard. Even
Right.
if they believe
I work too hard.
make you sound like you'll be irritating to be around or
Yep.
you'll
Those
burn
are
out.
terrible answers.
Instead, say something like,
they're the most
my
popular
biggest
ones.
weakness with regards to this job is, I have no experience with company's database platform or I don't have much knowledge about single specific aspect of job yet, so it would take me some time to learn. These are real weaknesses that are relevant to the job, but
That's
they're
smart.
also fixable things that you'll correct soon after being hired. Personality flaws are not, and they're also none of the interviewer's business.
Yeah, it's just a crappy question.
It's just a stupid question with a stupid answer where it's like, yeah, your answer can be, well, I'm not as experienced in this job as I'd like to be yet, so that's my biggest weakness relative to this job. You shouldn't be worried about my inability to stop eating cheeses at 2 a.m. when I'm at home.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I definitely prefer more behavioral questions, asking what would you do in this situation and giving
Sure.
a scenario and letting someone respond that way. I feel kind of learn more about somebody in that way.
When you worry about something, you're either worrying
worrying about something that'll never happen or suffering through it twice.
Easier said than done, not to worry about something.
Yeah, I know, but that's funny to worry about something that you did or something, and it's like you can't change it now, but now you're just living through it.
Or worrying about it ahead of time.
That too.
And then you also.
And then you got to go through it.
Yeah.
But it's just impossible. It's the propensity of the human mind to do those things, right? Oh, a cleaning tip. My wife could use one of these.
So you know the little piles of things that collect around your house? Let me show you. Like this, or this, or this. They're a huge pain to clean up because you have to go to like 20 different places just to put everything away. Well, here's a tip.
You love that one.
Love it.
It's exactly what you're doing.
When in doubt, throw it out.
Can't leave something on the kitchen counter for more than 45 minutes, so it's either back where it's supposed to be or
burns a hole in my brain.
Possibly in the trash.
Oh yeah, I almost died yesterday when you left a pair of clean socks on the counter.
I brought down clean socks after I woke up because I was planning on working out later, but
Much later in the day.
Typically wear my sandals without socks during the day.
In all fairness, you don't think ahead very often, so why would I think you meant those socks to be for later in the day?
Thought I just put them there by accident?
I thought you put them there and then forgot to wear them, so I put them away.
It's possible that's the case too.
Do you enjoy having a clean house?
I love it.
Then shut up!
As tempting as it is to keep windows open during a heat wave, if you have no air conditioning in your house, close all windows and shades that are sun-facing.
Well, yeah.
If you go to the UK and someone asks, "You all right?" This literally just means hello, and you can respond with "You all right."
That's funny. That one
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that one?
No!
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh,
You all right?
I'm fine.
I'm fine. Why? Do I look okay?
Do I look disheveled? Am I okay?
It's like, hi, what's
So
up?
that sounds so weird. You alright?
Yeah, you all right? I love that
I
you...
learned something today.
When someone doesn't appreciate what you do, sounds relatable.
If someone doesn't appreciate something you do for them, it probably means that it isn't that important to them. Rather than letting it get to you, just add it to the list of things you don't need to do anymore.
I don't know if I agree with that though.
I don't know if I do either.
Yeah, some people are just better at showing genuine appreciation, and there are some people that genuinely appreciate something but aren't as good at verbalizing or showing it.
Oh, I guess I don't need to clean the house anymore.
That's what I mean. Like, that's what I say. Like when I do little, like I'll go out of my way to do something that I wouldn't normally do, tidy something or make the house nicer. I know it's gonna blow her mind, but like I also don't expect a Prince Ali to come in with an elephant parade. You know what I mean? As an appreciation, right? Well, I'm feeling inspired. It's always the...
So what are you gonna do about it now that you've been fed all of this motivational stuff?
Nothing. Probably depressed again in a few days and then go back to TikTok for some more motivational quotes. One big thing I do the night before, the next day, I'll try to write down like 2 or 3 things I know I need to get done and then attack those first thing in the morning and get those done before I do other things.
Prioritizing.
Yeah, exactly. Prioritizing. That is something I'm terrible at. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was a big sigh like, oh, I know I'm married to you, sweetheart. Anyways, we prioritize you guys. Thank you for watching with us. Hope you learned something. If anything, it's that I can't leave socks on the counter in my own house.
No, we cannot.
Nope. See you in the next video. Peace.